It's a pleasure right now on UK Talk Radio to talk to Frankie Rockin Smith with two songs behind him which have already reached number one in the UK Talk Radio Hot 100 and a fantastic new album out. Now, we're going to look at three of the tracks. So, Frankie, tell us about your first track we're going to talk about, which is On a Bench by the Lake.
Well, that's a very special song for me. I wrote that late last year. I think it was about December, could have been January, early January this year. And I thought I wanted to do a ballad because I had a lot of rocking fast songs on the album, and I thought, well, let's go for a nice ballad with a nice 50s, 60s feel to it. And I thought, well, let's get something, that shows off the vocals a bit more, like it pushes my vocals to the limit. Because during my shows, I do stuff like In the Still of the Night and Earth Angel sometimes, and Old Donna by Richie Valens. I thought, let's do something like that, with the old 60s doo-wop chords. And I just started playing the guitar. And the way I write songs is I go through stuff that has worked for me before, like covers. So I start playing chords on one song, start just messing around, and then I start jotting lyrics down for my own song. And then I work on the old 50s, 60s chords. And then I just thought, here, on a bench by the lake. And there's a little lake I go to, and sometimes I do a little bit of fishing there. There's a lovely bench there. It's so peaceful and relaxing. And I thought, what that would make a great song, like a love song. Think of like a couple that's broken up and he still visits the place, and like he's got a lot of memories there from their first date. I thought that's like a 60s, 50s, 60s type story for a song. So I wrote some lyrics down, and it just came out better and better. And I did the acoustic version, and I loved it at first straight away, even though it was just a demo. So I got it sent over to my band, which features Mark Di Rosario on guitar and Lewis Chamberlain on piano, and Keith Selfwood on bass, and Esteban Rotunu on drums. And they're fantastic musicians. But when they sent it back and got the guitar and everything added, I was just blown away by it. I just loved it. And I said to my manager, Michelle, we'll have to get this released as a single at some point. So he said to me, let's get a couple of fast rocking tracks out first to promote the album, and then get this out, as the third single, maybe. I said, yeah, well, that sounds like a plan. But it's a song that I love, and it's been going down really well at my live shows.
And what I like is it's very personal to you, so it's a place that means something to you, but you're actually now, you've got it into the lyric in the song. We actually now share that magical place and that magical experience with you. And I think that, as you say, that will make a great single once the kind of first up-tempo songs. It's always great to have up-tempo songs first of all. Now, the next one we're going to move on is a collaboration. It's called What Happened to Good Old Music. So tell us who you collaborated with, and tell us a little bit about the song.
Well, when I got this song together, I just kept listening. I'm thinking this will go down as a great duet, but it's getting the right person, on board. And I've always been a fan of Ricky Aaron. I was young at the time. It was quite a good few years ago. He appeared on, I think it was ITV, and it was The World's Greatest Elvis. And he were amongst the top 50 Elvis tributes in the world. And there was guys from US, guys from the UK, all over they came from. And he got in the the top Elvis tributes of the world, and he was on TV. And then I started following him on YouTube, and I was just seeing his covers and everything. And I loved his 60s Elvis that he did. He did Elvis with the gold jacket and everything, and he does that brilliantly. And he also does like Shakin' Stevens and a mixed rock and roll show. And I thought, well, this guy has this, rock and roll sound, and I admire him for what he's done, because he's been selling out at theatre shows and won loads and loads of awards. You know, Elvis Tribute of the Year and sellout shows and things like that. And I thought, well, it's a big chance of getting him on it. He's probably going to say no, but I thought, you never know. I've been friends with him for a number of years on Facebook. He's a good friend and a nice guy, very nice, down to earth guy, Ricky is. And I asked him, and he said, yeah, sure, I'd love to. And I was over the moon. And when he sent it back, and he even did some harmonies as well, and he harmonised perfect with me. So we discussed it over the phone, and he said, "What about I go for slightly lower key, you go for slight higher harmony," and it just went down brilliantly. And that track, it refers to how the music has gone today, because there's a lot of auto tune being used today, and computers, and I mean, it's great how technology has moved on. But I'm a big fan of the old music, and I think that when you went to see a singer, like I said, I've said this many a times, when you go to see a singer back in the day, they sound, you know, as good live as they did on the album. But nowadays they're relying too much on technology. So it's just saying, you know, what happened to the good old music? I'm a big fan of rock and roll, country, rhythm and blues, and I feel, you know, the population today is just sort of forgotten about rock and roll. So we've got to try to keep it going. And in the lyrics, you know, as it clearly says, oh, back in the days, real bands would naturally play. Now all we have is auto tune. It's not the same. What happened to the good old music back in the day? So they're very meaningful lyrics to the world today of music, you know.
I can really understand what you're saying, because what you're getting, and this was always the thing with rock and roll, it was an authentic experience, and some of the guys in the early days would just have 2 tracks, 3, 4 tracks, very unsophisticated compared to what you have nowadays. So you had to perform well. You had to put everything into the track, and you couldn't rely on, well, we do this, that, and the other afterwards. And as you say, of course, the nice thing about the way that you work is it means that when people come to see you, they get the same sound in the live show as they heard on the music, as they heard on the song.
Yeah. Well, I try to keep it as original as I can, and the band did the same, with no auto-tune and nothing like that. And, you know, I've never used auto-tune. Because I just don't like the sound, really. Because I do the old school music, it wouldn't sound right for me, and so I've always just tried to keep it original. And I do a few takes. Sometimes, you know, if I don't like it, I'll do 10 takes. But I just try to keep one straight take, and if I have to go over it, I just add harmonies in, you know, but just my own backing harmonies. I have 2 sisters that sing, so sometimes they do backing for me as well. But by that, we just try to keep it original. And obviously, sometimes where I dance during my shows, obviously, you're not going to always get it spot on as you do on the record, because I dance and sometimes I'm a little bit out of breath. But 9 times out of 10, I always manage to pull it off, because I'm not doing it I've done it pretty much the same as I did when I recorded it. In fact, sometimes some tracks work better for me live, because, you know, the music's loud and the bass is there and the audience are giving me a good vibe and they're cheering, so it gives me more encouragement. And sometimes I don't know, go a little bit, push my vocals a little bit more live than I do on the recorded tracks.
Yeah, I can understand that, because you're in a live atmosphere and you're actually getting the crowd, they lift you, whereas sometimes a recording studio can be quite sterile because you don't have an audience in front of you. So great points there to make fantastic, passionate music. And the last track that we're going to talk about from the album is called I'm Falling in Love with You. So tell us a little bit about the song.
That was actually written in 2022. Quite a couple of years ago. It was meant to go on the album What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger, but I held it back because I felt it needed a proper band to be, you know, on that track. And What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger, I produced and did all the instruments and everything myself. Well, my cousin Jimmy and my other cousin Moses, they did a little bit of guitar, because they played guitar. They did lead and rhythm for me on some of the tracks. But apart from that, you know, keyboards and bass and everything was done myself on the first album, What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger. And I thought, well, I'm a decent guitar player, but this could do with a proper band behind it to give it that 50s, 60s feel. And I love the chord changes in this song. And somebody said to me, it reminds me of Lonesome Town by Ricky Nelson. It's got that chord change, which I'm a big fan of Lonesome Town. So that was a great compliment for me to be named with legends like Ricky Nelson. And the song has, I think it has two key changes. So like it's already quite high pitched, and then it goes up another key where I push my vocals to the limit, and just right at the last verse in chorus, it goes up one more key where I just got to really push my voice to the limit. And for me, vocal wise, that's one of the best tracks on the album for my voice. And it's such a meaningful song, because I've been in a situation before where you've you like someone, but you don't know how to tell them, or you don't know how to come across in case they don't like you the same way. So I thought, what a great tune. I've been, when I was a teenager growing up especially, there'd be a girl I liked and I was a little bit shy to tell her, so I thought, well, use that as a story. And it's a very nice, relaxing song after having all the rocking tracks on the album. It just comes at track number 13, just before the reprise. It just sort of finishes the album off, and then we have a little reprise at the end of Bring Back Rock and Roll. We bring that one back on, and that's got a duet on there with Cara Jones. But it was a great track to finish the album with. I'm pleased I got to do it finally on this album.
And that must feel quite good for you to bring back this authentic sound. And the album itself has got 14 songs on it. It's called Bringing Back Rock and Roll, or Bring Back Rock and Roll. And it must feel great to you to have written 14 songs, to know that you've actually written them and you're bringing back that authentic rock and roll music, which I know is very passionate for you and has a massive, passionate worldwide audience.
Yeah, well, I think to do covers, to have, for one, to have my own album out there on streaming platforms and to have my name down as an official artist is something to be very proud of, and I am very proud of that. But then, like you say, to have my own tracks written, it just means the world to me. And it's so relaxing to sit down and create something from scratch, just start writing down some lyrics, and then just getting the guitar out, and then it don't go right, then you try different ways, and then just to see the final production of it, it's really, really one of the best things, one of the best gifts that God's ever given me. And it's just so relaxing and helps me so much with sometimes stress or anxiety. If I'm having a bad day, I just go and write some words down and write a song. Or if I'm, whatever I feel or think, if I'm having a bad day, I write it down. Or even good days, I just, music is my life, and it's a healer for the soul, I believe. Music is the best medicine.
Absolutely, it's a magic, isn't it? And you're creating a magic because there's nothing there in the first place, but you're actually bringing into existence a song. You're creating the music, you're creating the lyrics. I mean, it's easy to forget how wonderful that experience is.
Yeah, and to bring enjoyment to others as well. That means the world, because if there were no one out there, listening to my music or buying my CDs or coming to see the shows, then I'd say, well, I'd still do it, but I wouldn't have the excitement and the enjoyment as much as I have now, because the messages I get on social media are touching. I get told all the time, like, there's people that's been through stuff or lost people, and they didn't know how to handle life, and my music has brought enjoyment to them and gave them something, to do and something to listen out for and look out for. And there's one particular special woman, I'd like to give her a shout out, Leslie, and she's been, through some stuff in her life, and she she said, Frankie, I don't know what I'd do without your music. You know, your music helps me every day. She's got it on while she's doing her cleaning and or cooking and stuff like that. And she said, I just love everything that you do, and especially my own written stuff. I think she likes that more than some of my covers.
Wow, I mean, that is a
So, yeah, it does
fantastic.
mean a lot.
I mean, that's a great endorsement of your music, isn't it? When you hear that it has moved people in such a way. And it must be a great feeling for you when you've actually recorded a song, you've put an album or a single out, and then to go out and do that live and to see people responding right in front of you, to see
Yeah.
their enthusiasm. It must be a brilliant experience.
Yeah. Well, the best, one of the best feelings was when I did my first album last year. What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger. I did the song called Paint the Town live, and we did it at a rock and roll club, and everybody was on the dance floor dancing. I just was amazed. I thought, well, there's people dancing to a song that I've written. You know, I thought nobody's going to get up and dance to this, or nobody's going to even know it. You know, usually they'll only dance to stuff like Jailhouse Rock or Blue Suede Shoes, Great Balls of Fire, and stuff they know. They all got up and started dancing, and we sold out within no time of those CDs, and it went down very well amongst the rock and roll community. A lot of the rock and roll clubs play it now, and it's very nice. The Rock and Roll Weekender was over in Turkey, and they had it on a playlist every day over there, and I was getting videos sent to me saying, look, you're being played over here.
Wow.
It was like I did a tour in Turkey without being there.
That's fantastic. Wow. Well, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, Frankie. And to round off, we've been talking about music from the album Bringing Back Rock and Roll. So where can we get hold of your album?
Well, first of all, it's a pleasure to be on your show, and thank you for having me.
Real pleasure.
I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
your time today. And secondly, well, you can get it on all major streaming platforms.
Yeah.
The album is called Bring Back Rock and Roll, 14 brand new tracks. That's available on Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, and so many more. And if anybody'd like a personal signed CD, we're hoping to get a website open soon. Well, sorry, we've got a website open. We're hoping to get a shop opened on the website. But if anybody would like to purchase one in the meantime, they can contact me on social media. Just type Frankie Rockin' Smith. I'm available on Facebook. I have a official page, an official fan group, TikTok, Instagram. I have YouTube as well. And they can contact me if they want to give me their name, or if they want to purchase the album for someone, and I can sign it to someone. And CDs are £10 each. The singles are £5 each. Each single that we've released so far this year, we've put bonus tracks on. Because for this album, there were like 18 tracks written for this album. So we didn't get to add all of them, so there's 4 tracks left over. And then we also had a couple of acoustic versions as well. So on each single, there's like 2 or 3 bonus tracks that didn't make the album, so they're getting a bonus there by buying the single. And on the song On the Bench by the Lake, we ended up putting the acoustic demo, what I originally recorded, as a bonus song on the single. And that's also available on all major streaming platforms. So they just type On the Bench by the Lake by Frankie Rockin' Smith. You'll see on there as well, acoustic version. And that's a really nice feel, because it's just basic me on the guitar with a drum loop, and it just throws me back to the 50s. Some people actually said, oh, I prefer the acoustic version over the single. But, you know, I love the single because it's got so much in there with the guitar player doing lead and the piano, and everything's just been added fantastically.
Wow, that's fantastic, and I wish you all the best with that. Frankie, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, and thank you for being a part of the show here at UK Talk Radio.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Have a good one. Thanks ever so much.